If you've been on a BC ferry this summer and it seemed to you that it was a little emptier than usual, you're right. Summer passenger volume on BC ferries is down to the lowest traffic levels the fleet has seen in 20 years. BC Ferries says the strong Canadian dollar is mainly to blame, but the NDP says it is the cost. The opposition says a BC ferry ride has become a luxury, and the fares are deterring tourists from visiting Vancouver Island. And some ferry passengers we spoke with today say the cost is keeping them from sailing more often. Eric Thompson reports.
Fewer passengers are sailing with BC Ferries this summer. The company says the strong Canadian dollar is affecting its bottom line.
You can see a decline in the number of plates from Alberta. You can see a decline in the plates from Washington, very few California, Idaho.
BC Ferries says vehicle and passenger levels are down considerably, which will cost the company more than $20 million. President and CEO David Hahn says the cost of fuel is likely impacting ridership more than rising ferry fares.
Costing them more $30 more a week to fill up their car is probably a bigger thing.
When our kids want to come over, we actually send them the fare now, whereas before we didn't, but we felt that it's our choice to live here.
We don't take it nearly what we used to. I mean, if we need to go, we go.
It is more expensive, but we still go anyways.
You know, I hope they're doing everything to keep the costs under control, but I understand that's the price of doing business.
Since 1991, the cost for a passenger vehicle and two people to travel between Swartz Bay and Tsawwassen has jumped by about $46.
Islanders have been getting ripped off. It's hurting small businesses here. It's hurting tourism operators. I think the evidence is quite clear. This is a long-term trend, and a real review on rates, I think, would determine what we hear from the public all the time.
Earlier this year, the Ferries Commissioner ordered a sweeping review of the company, its schedules, and its fares. Hahn says the company's contract with the government requires it to provide a certain amount of sailings, but looking at service reductions on the major routes should be part of any discussion.
If you're operating inefficiently, I think you'd want to make those changes.
Hahn says he wouldn't recommend any changes to the minor routes at this time, but he's encouraging communities to get involved to help identify where sailings could be cut to make the service more efficient. And as the company deals with lower revenues, on the upside, its on-time performance is through the roof.
So we're probably approaching close to 89–90% on-time performance.
Hahn says while the company is running better, faster, and smoother, he'd like to see more people coming aboard to sail with BC Ferries. In Victoria, Eric Thompson, A News.